Hello lovely stitchy friends, hope you're all well. It's Rachel from Moonlight Stitches and we're here on day 2 of our meander through our memories. I just want to talk about the thinking process of making our piece or your piece. Yes, I've not got any threads and needles and fabrics out just yet because I just want to go through how I personally start to wonder about where and what I'm going to stitch. Sometimes I don't do this process, but a lot of the times I'll do it in a little tiny book, and it might be just words. I might have something that triggers a thought or something that makes me think, I could do that. It might be something like a picture on, I don't know, a sugar sachet. It could be that simple, and I look at that picture and I think, oh, do you know what, I could actually make something with that. I could go with the flow with that, and I take it along with me and use it as inspiration. So it can be absolutely anything that you can use as inspiration. So I just thought, right, I'm going to go through my thought process, and we're going to do kind of like a meditative process of how we're going to make our stitch book, stitch map, stitch roll, stitch scroll, whatever you want it to be. So do you remember in the first video I showed you this sort of rough and very rough idea of a map from my memory? This is my childhood home, and it's sort of thinking about the things that are important to you at that time. Those memories will pop up and they'll become those things that you want to stitch. So for instance, I've got my home, obviously, and then we've got the school, and I don't think I've written it on here, but this is the road to my friend, I have to Rachel's house, to Granny and Grandpa's, or Mama and Grandpa's house, and Rachel lived at 39 Duke Street. So these things that make a simple map makes it's the important things, or the things that stick out most in your memory. So I sort of scoured the internet and bits and bobs and had a little think, right, let's have a look at other people's maps that these are important things in their world. So we're going to go for Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin's map. This is not a very good, very big picture, but I did find something on Pinterest that blew it up a little bit. And Christopher Robin's here, and obviously all he wants to know is where his important things are, like Pooh Bear's house, Rabbit's house. There's a big stone and a rock, you know, Eeyore's gloomy place. These are important things to him, so they're mapped on the simplest of maps. Yeah, we've got some trees in there, but the basics is he's thinking about what's important. Nice for picnics. Doesn't have to draw something for picnic, he's just written the words. So, you know, that's the process that we're going through. What's important? I love that little map. Millie Molly Mandy, who remembers that map of the village? It's not a very good printout, but again, they used wording. What was important to them? The playing field, the big house, the church, the cottage, and where her friend Susan lives, and that's really important. Look, shortcut to the village. But what's interesting about this map is the houses are stylized and they're all a very similar thing. They repeat, repeat, repeat. But we've also got these little suggestions of what is grass, or ploughed fields, so we don't have to go into too much detail. Teacher's cottage, I'm not sure that'd be important in my world, but hey hey. To the town. So they've, you know, this simple stage of a map that can be translated into stitch very, very easily. And we just put the nice cottage with the thatched roof, where Millie, Molly, Mandy actually lives. Look. I put a big heart around that. But I love a book where at the beginning I get a little map of something like this, of the houses, or the, you know, what's going to who's going to be, who are the characters in this book and where they are in relation to that central place. I do, and if I'm reading a book, I'll often flip back to that and think, oh, that's where such and such lives, you know. And it's just that visual kind of thought-provoking process of maps that make me sort of want to delve even more into it. By all means, you might want to do a really interesting sort of detailed map, but that's not my way forward. Excuse me, just have a slurp of my tea. So it's things like suggestions of what we're doing. Here's one of Paris, a little walking tour of Paris, and he's taking his dog. Look, and there's the start. And what's important to him? A bottle of wine and a drink. He's going to cross over the bridge. The Seine. It's just these. This is obviously a conversation that somebody's having while he's probably sitting drinking his wine. That's come up in his memory or his thought process while he's been sitting writing his sketchbook. So it can be that simple. Absolutely that simple. I haven't got it here, but in one of my sketchbooks somewhere is I've just cut out a piece of, well, not even cut it out, torn a piece of the map and stitched my journey around that area when we've been on holidays. So I hope you sort of get my thought process and what I'm thinking of doing along in this in this sort of series. So what I want you to do is I want you to get yourself a pencil, anything will do, and a biggish sheet of paper, because we're going to drop ourselves into a memory. So, you know, I want you to sort of think about something that you enjoy, somewhere, place you've been. It can be a holiday, a walk you've done recently, you know, your journey to the pub, a little walk around the neighbourhood. It could even be sort of your map of a supermarket. Allotments are always a good one. I always like to do things for people's, when you're walking around and having a nosy in people's gardens, front gardens, what's in there, what kind of thing stands out, you know. Have they got this beautiful bush with roses? Have they got a big tree? They might have swing in there, a trampoline, that kind of thing. So it might be a location that's really close. So, you know, it might be one from a distant memory, which I did the sort of my childhood memory map. So what I want you to do is I want you to pick yourself up, get yourself in and think of a memory, and then just plonk yourself down in it. Okay, I'll give you a moment to have a little think and I'll stop talking. So once you've put yourself down into the memory, you might want to be thinking, right, is it uptown? Is it something that you want to do that's going to be lengthwise? Will it be that way round? Doesn't really matter. What I like to do is what we call flattened perspective. So I don't want to do it in 3D, and it's easier for me to just draw square boxes, to be fair. So I'm going to put myself down in a memory, and it's quite recent. I'm going to go along a route of my bicycle rides. So I'm going to start myself over here, and this is my house. So my house, my garden, there's the road, and opposite is the kissing gate. All important things. I might put kissing gate so I know, because I'm not very good with things like that. And over here is a little walk up, and I've got what used to be the headstocks. They were winding wheels. Don't really know what. We'll just do that. Okay, because I live in DH Lawrence country, and I live directly opposite some headstock, big wooden headstocks. So I'm going to go along and think about where I go on my bike ride. So I go right up a big hill. So big hill is that way, and I go past the church, and I know that's the church. Okay, and up past on the right hand side is the post box. Nice post box. I'm going to draw right that it's post box, because just in case I come back and think what the heck is that. So I'm just going to go up there. I might miss things out that I don't want in there, like here they're building a new housing. I probably won't put that in. I'll leave that out. I won't detail that because it's not important to me, but it is important enough to have thought about it. And then I'm going to find, obviously this is a longer road, but for map purposes we are having the artistic license, and this is the gate where I'm going to go through, and I have to lift my bike up to get through this gate. So lift bike up, and then I go down a windy path which has big high walls, so I might do like some bricks. And I go through a couple of fields which are sometimes ploughed. There's some horses, ponies in this one, and then I come to another gate. Okay, and again I have to go through this gate. This gate I can open, but I must keep it closed. And then I come round and up between pub and house. And this house, this is a little thin path. This house has lots of wisteria and honeysuckle growing over the path. So I might not draw that house in. I might just draw a honeysuckle or stitch. Honeysuckle. Oh my gosh, I'm not very good, am I? But you get the drift. It's not the best pencil. I then come out, and I'm sort of coming around in a big circle. I come out and along the road, and the school is here. And they've got a big sign that says "Friends Stop Here," and I love that little sign. Oh dear. Now I'll come back round and I go over the main road, busy road, look both ways. So you can see I'm sort of building up a little bit of a picture of what is happening on my bike ride. Let's have another quick slurp of my tea. When you're in your memory, you might just have something that pops up straight away, a really interesting, really memorable kind of thing. But what I'd suggest that you do is stop every now and then, because I'm going to look both ways, and look to your left, look to your right. What's there? Think about your surroundings at that time. What was happening? It might not be right next to you. Again, we're using artistic license. These things might pop into your memory but not be on your map. They might be something that's completely off the map but you want to map. So I want to talk about, on this busy road where I'm looking both ways, my kind of journey across it to the hills and things like that. So I'm looking both ways and I'm thinking, right, what can I think about here? You know, I'm going to go across a busy road, but I'm looking what's gone left and what's got coming right. Do I want to map something here that's significant? I might do. At this moment in time, all I can think about for this is that there is this huge trough on wheels. It's got some kind of writing, but it's full of lavender, absolutely brimming with it, and bumblebees. So I'll do little bumblebees, and these will come in on my stitching. I mean, I can remember one day I was there and I thought, oh my gosh, there must be 1,000 bees there, and it's at the side of quite a busy road. So then I'll go across, and I've got on the right huge fields of oh hello, just his back, of corn growing. Huge field, rows and rows of it. But on the horizon on this side, at one stage there were poppies, and it was completely red. So, you know, I'm going, and then I'll go back down along this field and come round and keep on going, and I go down by a little stream which has a bridge, over it. Stream bridge. Just in case I don't know what it is when I come to draw, you know, sort of later at my when I'm stitching. Oh dear. See what I mean? You don't have to be an artist. So I go over the little bridge, and also under this bridge it's got stepping stones, which when I go for a walk with Reggie will hop from stone to stone. So I'm going to draw Reggie in. That's Reggie. Oh dear. So I'll carry on down my path, and then I'll come to reservoir, and this is a huge reservoir. Well, it's not huge, probably not huge at all in the grand scheme of things. It's probably like a little puddle. But do you remember the suggestions of kind of grass and things? I'm going to do a suggestion of water. Oh dear. And then if I was stitching this, I'd probably do a bit of red stitch here to make poppy field. Might even do it that way. I don't know. I'd be thinking about it. This is just this is my sort of pages of my stitch book. So I mean, you could actually do this as one big sheet and do it as your map, and just, you know, do it as you see it in a big, so you could have it in a frame if you like, but I've not sort of got that kind of space, wall area. So once I've come down by the reservoir, I come out and there's this lovely like grass verge, but here's a cute little cottage with, and the roof has these like scalloped tiles and then diamond tiles. I know that don't look like a diamond. Roof tile pattern. And there's a lovely signpost here, a really old signpost that tells you, excuse me, off to the priory that way. That's a monk's priory, by the way, not an institutional place to go and dry out if you've had if you've got drug or alcohol issues. Apologies for any of that. So priory is that way. Gertrude, I've done two arrows now, and then cottages are this way. But I'm going to come across this road and back down, and it's quite a steep hill. And again, I'm pedaling like Billy-O. Up the hill. And usually here there's this huge tree and it has hundreds of conkers. On, and I always stop and fill my pockets with conkers, and then I bring them home and I put them on a table in the garden for the little squirrel that comes. Oh my gosh, my squirrel's not very good, is he? He's eating a conker. He just come. Gilbert, his name is. Don't worry about perspective. Oh dear. So all the time I'm thinking what I've done in the past or what happened here. So I will take some more of these memories and sort of then kind of start to think about them a little bit more. So here, do I make doodles of when I might have posted a letter? You know, do I do an envelope with address? Was there an important letter? Which then reminds me about the stamp and what was on the stamp. Was it the Queen? Was it the King? Was it something that we were celebrating in the UK at that time? You know, it's that kind of thing that I'll start to think about around this area. Things like over here in the poppy field there was a hawk of some kind floating around. The swans on the reservoir, that kind of thing. And I start to add a little bit of information, more information. So on this kind of bicycle ride, I've got the things that seemed important to me right then and there, and then things start to pop up that have I've forgotten about, or I can remember one day I'd been drawing. There's a beautiful old ramshackle gate here, and it's sort of on its last legs, on its hinges, and there's a bench, and I'd propped my bench up, propped my bike up against the bench, and I'd been sitting, and I got my sketchbook out and I was drawing this gate, and a man came walking past me, and I said hello, and I carried on drawing. And this gate has these huge pillars, and I don't know, they're like made out of concrete, and then it's this rubbishy gate that's sort of all mangled and twisted, but it looks like it's to something or off in the distance, but there's nothing around it. Anyway, back to the man. He's walking his two dog, I think, and I'm carrying on sketching. A few days later, I do the same trip again, and pinned onto this bench is a bag with a note and a pencil. And the pencil is really unusual, and and the notes sort of saying hello from this gentleman, but the pencil's a pencil that's been sharpened down, and it's about this size, this tiny little thing. and he explains in the note that it's he used to draw and be drawing and sketching, and now he can't because of his arthritis in his hands, and this was one of his favourite pencils and he's gifted it to me. So it's little memories like that that I'd sort of not forgotten. It was there, but it's just come back to me. So you can see my thought process. I'm starting to build up little pictures of what I might want to be in my book. It starts to provoke your thoughts. It gets very evocative. You might want to put a compass rose up here, you know, so north, south, east, west, east. And these are, if you look on old maps, these are sometimes really fancy, aren't they? With little arrowheads going that way. Oh gosh, they can go on forever. I mean, like, and then have like little doodles of things. Oh, it can be go on and on and on. Anyway, so that might be your north, south, east, west. And then here I might do something like what they call a cartouche and explain what's going on. So I might do something round and decorate it in like laurel leaf type things, maybe. I don't know why laurel leaves. Probably not laurel leaf. Probably more like a twisted thing going on of no idea what kind of leaf pattern. But a cartouche, it states what's on the map or what the map's about. So it might be that my map is about a walk to work, but I will put bicycle ride through the villages, and then I might put a date in, but I don't really want to, I'm not sure I want to put a date in, but we'll see. But I might put something else more interesting in there that's sort of giving me food for thought. It might have rained, it might be glorious autumn day, a glorious well, I'm going autumn day, and that's what there's my my processes and my house. Use your artistic license. Your house might be in a block of terraced houses. Let me just find a book on David Gentleman. He is one of my favouriteest artists, and I was looking through this and I just thought, I could do with showing this row of houses that he drew. Here we are on the hillside, so we can see, and they're just stacked up on the hillside. You know, he's just sort of drawn lines in. He's done a sweep of colour and then drawn lines in. There's hardly any detail. It's not, the detail's not important. It's just the fact that it's stating that it's there. We know what that is. You could actually just put the odd window in. He's done quite a few windows here and doors, but if you just put one one little roof, one little chimney pot, or a couple of little chimney pots, we'd know what that was. So, excuse me, it's about taking something and making it work for the stitch project. So my house is a semi-detached house actually, but I'm going to cut off the neighbour and I'm going to give myself the lovely red door that I've got, and I'll think about all the little windows it's got, and a bay window which doesn't look like that, but I want it to. So it's that kind of using what you've got from your memory and then embellishing it. Okay, I hope I've sort of given you a kind of way to get your thoughts from your head into an actual piece of work. As I say, I'm not no real artist. This is basics. It's when we transfer it to stitch, it's not going to matter, because how we transfer it and how we interpret it might not be how we interpret this picture. So it might be just the suggestion of the red colours. I might just pick up a bit of red fabric, and just make a square. It's not necessarily that you're going to make lots of detail, but as we go along, as we start to build up our book, I will be able to explain things more to you. So once you've got your basics of your map and your ideas, I want you to think about what the colours are. Think about getting your fabrics all ready. I know we've already talked about the fabrics in the previous kind of video, but I will say I don't need to make this exact colours. I will use my colours that I got out from the beginning. I've just found some more threads that I'm feeling that I want to be in there, so I was going with pinks, creams, a bit of blue and a bit of green, because that's lending itself to my kind of work in progress. All I want you to know is that you might have a plan, so your basic idea helps with the process. It doesn't matter if you leave things out. We've got to think about what's important. We might walk along this road and think, oh, Mrs. Bridges lives here. She's got 2 cats, and we might just want to draw 2 cats. With their big curly tail. I know it's not a very good picture, cats, but hey ho, you get in the drift. Think about what's important and map it out. When I say I've drawn it as a map, but really it's like a mind map. We do this at school, don't we? And we've got to have these bubble in the middle and lines coming off it. Well, I've never thought that that's any good to me. I need this. I need to see a visual. I need to make it up. I need to have the detail of what, and it's like having the meat and the veg, and then adding all the bits like the seasoning and the herbs and the spices. That's what makes up everything. You can relate it to everything, can't you? So I'm going to stop there because I'm now wittering and rambling, but I do hope that this is kind of helping you. And if it is, give it a thumbs up. I love to read your comments. If there's anything you want to tell me or say about, please do. It's always wonderful. And I will see you again in the next video. And happy drawing / stitching. Bye bye.